When we talk about words, what words to leave in, what words to leave out, what we're talking about is economy of style. So I want to make a few points about style. Use rhythm and alliteration to good advantage. Phrases like constant chorus or silent whispers with their repeated sounds mean what they say and they say what they mean. You hear the S's in silent whispers. You hear the whisper. He strode across the room to her with its alternate stressed syllables, emphasized syllables, provides the rhythm of walking. You see this in lots of good poetry, and prose stylists like Cormac McCarthy and Annie Dillard. They know the value of bringing the techniques of poetry to prose. Another who knew this was Edgar Allan Poe. He used it both in his fiction and his poetry, especially the long vowel sounds, for a sense of mournfulness. Quote the raven, nevermore. Another area in which style is affected is the use of voice, whether to use the active voice or the passive voice. The active voice might sound like, John grabbed the gun and shot the judge. You state who the author of the action is and the action performed in a fluid, short sentence. The passive voice is more serpentine. The judge was shot by John, who grabbed the gun. The passive voice has been called the voice of Watergate. Mistakes were made, yes, a break-in did occur. It's a voice that postpones responsibility and stalls for time, not hallmarks of fluid narrative. Avoid cliches, because we use too many of them to shake a stick out without even knowing it. Surprise your reader. Plant mystery, reason for wonder in your garden of words. Use moments of transcendence and coincidence, but subtly prepare the reader for the latter so she or he doesn't feel cheated. Astonish the reader with opposites, opposite moods, characters, extremes in emotions, actions, or physical attributes. A little man with huge appetites, the best of times, the worst of times. People like that contrast. Show, don't tell. You've heard this advice often. Don't say, Annabelle was a kindly woman who was good to animals. Rather try, Annabelle held a crust toward the skittish collie and cooed, easy now, come to Mama. Now this is a rule that people often break. Jim Harrison wrote a famous book, Legends of the Fall. It's a novella, really. When you see the 3-hour movie starring Brad Pitt, you think, wow, what an epic this must be. It spans 3 generations, takes place at least on 2 continents, involves the Indian-American Wars, the World War I, the Great Depression, and yet when you pick up the book, it's about 70 pages long. It's a novella. I read it and I thought this would make a great novel. But it's really a masterpiece of rule breaking in a sense. There's lots of condensed time, lots of telling, lots of showing as well, but it's a mix of the two. So when you hear this advice, show, don't tell, know that masters can break this rule, and you can as well. Just know why you're doing it. Almost always, the showing is better than the telling.